Nearly anyone who's played Minecraft, especially those whose childhood was entirely made up from it, has had some crazy idea for a feature in the game, some better than others. I've seen just about all of them, whether it's guns, natural disasters, or whatever other mod pack you can think of. The community has long disputed for what could be considered vanilla or not, and while I think it's obvious for some options, others could be heavily argued for whether it belongs. Bottom line, if something is going to be added to Minecraft, it needs to affect the game in a positive way, and inspire players to keep playing rather than discourage. And yes, I know that isn't an exact quote from the developer, but I think any developer for any game would agree with that statement. Moving on. Now I just want to establish this first and foremost. Minecraft is not in a bad state. Even if I say things that make it sound like that, it's never been farther from the truth. Minecraft is in a great phase right now, where gameplay is extremely enjoyable and balanced. But after playing many survival worlds, both with and without friends, I've noticed the same pattern through each one. This would be player retention, aka how long the player spends time on the world. At the start of Minecraft's development timeline, this was relatively low, as there really wasn't much to stick around for. Like, hey, you can place some blocks I guess, maybe eat some food, have fun. As the game grew, I think Minecraft developers noticed this, and like any team would, they improved it to the point we have today. I think one huge leap in the right direction was Update 1.9, a very controversial update due to the major gameplay changes including combat and game progression. While Skywars players can keep crying in their Hypixel pit, I think this update was important due to player retention, as it introduced crazy new items like elytras and mending for players to get their hands on if they wanted to move on to the next phase of their world. It sped up progression in general, allowing for large survival projects to be completed in what would have taken years. Back to my point, player retention. Even now, although you'll get hardcore players that will pour years of their lives into the game, regardless of gameplay, there really isn't much of a motive to play the game seriously once you get past the final hurdles. Getting up to that point, it's a blast, as you have to accomplish all these tasks all while learning core game mechanics in the process. After playing over 20 fully fleshed out worlds, I can't tell you how much more fun I've had in a game than getting to the Ender Dragon fight with my friends after weeks of preparation. It's only after this that problems begin to arise. I mean, sure, you can build every farm imaginable and have access to pretty much any item you could ever want. You could build storage systems and contraptions more complex than a NASA computer, and recreate the entirety of ancient Rome in a Minecraft world. But then what? Are you just going to keep going until your device's storage can't keep up with it? No, you drop out. You get bored, and you move on to the next best thing. This is where my proposal comes in. So we've established the problem, being that Minecraft simply gets boring. We can't play it forever. Of course, my proposal doesn't fix that problem. That would be impossible. Minecraft might be one of the most replayable games to date, but even then it still has its downfalls. I think one way to improve it, though, would be to create more experiences for the players to do in the endgame. Let me break it down. So first off, I need to explain the phases of the game. Your average Minecraft world, from start to finish, can be broken down into 4 basic phases. Every Minecraft world has to start somewhere. You spawn in, and whether this is your first world ever, or yet another go at the endless pursuit of happiness, it's certainly an exciting one. You're filled with hopes and dreams, and an endless stream of ideas go through your head on what's next. Do I go mining? Do I need more wood? Where do I set up base? You're overloaded with tasks to complete if you want to make it to the next phase. Sounds like a massive chore, right? Nope. You're having fun, and lots of it. This absolute dopamine explosion of a phase is one of the greatest parts about Minecraft, but it only gets better. After several hours of grindy gameplay, you're determined to keep going. By now, you might already have a full set of iron tools and gear, maybe even diamond. You've got a miner base set up, and you've already dipped your toes in the nether, with major ambitions still thriving in your head. As you continue on, this dopamine boost begins to dwindle, as you realize the size of the tasks you still have yet to complete. Nether fortresses could take hours to find, with the potential to lose all your gear. If you want to finish your base, you're going to need an absurd amount of materials. While these jobs sound daunting, you keep at it, and eventually move on to the next phase. By now, you've got all the enchantments on all your items, a great base set up back at home, and lots of tasks still waiting to be accomplished. But that's not the concern right now. After days of searching in the Nether, you were able to locate a Nether fortress. Only a couple of days later, all 12 Eyes of Ender are sitting in their respective frames with a portal to the Abyss waiting on the other side. Months of gameplay have led up to this. Killing the Ender Dragon would be everything you need to make the world complete. Whether it's the Elytra, the Egg, or just the idea of beating Minecraft's final boss. You've never been more ready to play Minecraft. After dealing that final blow, you get all the XP you could ever need, and that final spike of joy goes over. Arguably the best and the worst part of the game all in one phase. While some say it's the journey that matters, the destination sure does feel great. At this point in the world, you've gotten everything there is to get. You're practically a god. Your base is complete, and you've collected every item you'd ever need, with a storage system to accompany it. You've obtained your Elytra, and thanks to your XP farm, all your tools remain at full durability. You've gotten every achievement out there, and if you're looking for something to do, why not just build another large-scale farm? How about another structure? Heck, let's just take over the world while we're at it. Minecraft, a world of infinite possibilities. The only limit is your imagination. And that's where it ends. What else is left to do? Why even stick around? Just like that, the streak comes to an end, and the world now waits to be reopened for nostalgic purposes. The end. While little tweaks could be, and are actively being made to change the first 3 phases of the game, I think where most players struggle to stay motivated would be the 4th. Whether you just reached that phase of the game, or it's been years since you took that first shower in Dragon XP, all players eventually run out of ideas, and the world simply fades away. Of course, while this sad ending is inevitable, there are still ways to make the lifespan of each world at least a little bit longer. One way to accomplish this would be bridging the gap between creative and survival mode once you pass the 3rd phase. While Mojang has already made many efforts to do this, including Elytras, granting you infinite flight, or shulker boxes, where inventory space is no longer a problem, players still hit a wall because of the tasks in between all the fun stuff. These tasks could include material gathering, building, or exploring. Of course, I don't want to eliminate these parts of the game. I believe the grindy part of survival is what separates it from creative, as you have to put much more effort into each contraption you build. Because of the time and preparation invested in each idea, it adds value to them, and makes structures such as mega bases that much more impressive. It's just when you have items that speed up the process, it makes the game that much more enjoyable. Take for example the beacon. If you had to go underground and individually mine each block for a mega project you're undergoing, the majority of players would give up. Most people just don't have that much time, and while it would exponentially increase the value of the project, it would never complete itself in the first place. I can say this for myself, as I have undergone many failed mega projects, such as a massive sewer system, giving up simply because of the constraint of patience and time. The same could be said about Elytras, which save players days worth of traveling between locations for the sake of convenience. It's items like these that give players not only another thing to work towards, but it speeds up the process of bigger ideas. You still following? Okay. One major thing I see mods slip up on when trying to pin down a possible candidate for a vanilla feature would be the process. In Minecraft, just about everything you achieve is a process. The very enchantments on your tools took hours of level gathering, villager trading, and mining for the resources to even build the assets in the first place. As I'm sure we all know, wandering the endless void of N Islands to find that perfect end city can be very time consuming, but the prize of flight cannot be argued. It's not like you can just slap down a beacon in the dirt and mine quicker than a cat. No, you need a whole pyramid of expensive resources to power it. Again, it's a process, a journey that the player has to go through in order to earn this crazy item they need so bad. So Mojang, don't just give these players this item through a crafting recipe. Make a boss, make a structure, make a whole new dimension for all I care. It's these innovative new quests that keep Minecraft players going, giving them another task to pour their time into, all while challenging what they call the end. As for what the new items could be, I'm no judge of that. Again, the whole idea of this is to bridge the gap between survival and creative, all while keeping the fundamentals of survival in play. Mojang is one of, if not the most creative team of developers I've ever seen, so I can't imagine they'd struggle to forge a few new concepts together given the right time frame. And of course, keep the game vanilla. The last thing I'd want is to see them copy and paste some mod pack that fits the requirements right into the game. A great example of this was the Ether, which the devs were quite literally in the final phase of implementing before bailing on the project. Of course, I'm not saying the Ether didn't have vanilla characteristics. It's not like we didn't all fall for the glowstone and water portal for nothing. There's lots of potential for this kind of content in the new Caves and Cliffs update, which is currently being released as this video is being made. With plenty of new biomes and generated structures, I'm sure Mojang could sneak some treasure in. But no matter what, Mojang, keep pushing the limits. That's what you do best. I rest my case.
Because I don't love you anymore.